Hey everybody, how is it going? Welcome back to Hey Fro Sales. I am Jeff, your host for this evening. It is Tuesday evening, 9 p.m. And I feel inspired to do a video. I've been radio silent for a few days since Maria got back from Australia. She's settling in nicely. She's visiting a friend right now. And lots to talk about. I haven't really felt like doing a video. I've been kind of actually staying away from watching reseller content for a while. And I needed a break from doing some videos. And it kind of wears on you a little bit. And I also feel that this is the time of the year where a lot of people are not on YouTube. So why should I be on YouTube as well, right? But I was in Primo's chat. He did a live stream today, and there was a lot going on in the chat. There's a lot going on with eBay right now, as there always is. That is very negative. There's some stuff going on right now that I need to talk about. Feedback. I need to talk about feedback. Need to talk about my own personal. I have good buyer experience and a bad buyer experience I want to share. I want to talk about the reselling community videos out there. Like, when I say I haven't been watching a lot, I haven't been watching a lot of good stuff lately. There's been a lot of mediocre content that's been put out. Now, I'm not going to be talking about individual content creators, but this is the time of resolutions for 2024, and I'm going to be cutting out some resellers from my own carousel of viewing potential, I guess, and I'm going to talk about the qualifications as to kind of like what things I'm trying to cut out. So we'll get on that. Oh, and we're gonna talk about what sold at the end. But yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is feedback, because that's the topic that I believe this is what I'm going to call the video. I personally believe with eBay's new policy of not removing any feedback, and I'm getting this from something that James said inside of Primo's chat about how he recently had a negative feedback left. The item, the buyer said that the item was not received, and he left a negative feedback, but the tracking shows that it was received. Now, traditionally, anytime anything like that would happen, you'd call into eBay, they would look at it, they would use a little bit of common sense, and they would be like, yeah, we're going to remove that. It doesn't make sense. Now, I can't verify this of what he said, but it sounds like something that eBay is moving towards, because I recently had somebody leave me a neutral feedback, and it was a lie. Oh, I remember what it was. The buyer was, he wanted something shipped in a certain way, but he didn't ask for it, and it didn't state in the listing that was the way. He wanted it shipped in a essentially kind of like a box. It was a comic book, and usually certain value comics I just ship between two cutout cardboards that I do, and I've been doing this for 12 years. 12 years, this is how I've been shipping comics. And then higher value comics, or when there's more than 4, I will ship in a box. I've never had any problems. So basically the buyer left neutral feedback saying that he wishes it would have been done like this, but he didn't ask for it. And eBay would not remove, basically, an opinion. It's something that the buyer would have preferred. But, you know, I joked to eBay, I'm like, he could have said buyer didn't ship it in a garbage bag, and eBay would have left it on there, because when I called in to have them remove it, first off, they would not go through. They would not submit it. They made me go through the system, and then when I got the comment back from eBay, it was very clear that they didn't even read the feedback. It was just a very standard vanilla response. So they're making it harder and harder, and I see them moving towards an area where they're not going to bother removing feedback, even if it's a blatant lie, even if it's untrue. They're basically just crapping on resellers, right? They're basically like, somebody said that eBay's declaring war on resellers. I think it was Crazy Cab Driver Joe is his name. I think that's what his name. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Although his feedback that he talked about in the video was a little tricky, but in a way, eBay is basically, you know, they're leaving us out to dry when it comes to feedback. And then I was just watching Madcap Toys, and they had a situation where they refused a cancellation, which I never would have done. Like, I never would. If somebody wants to cancel, I don't want to sell it to them. And because I just know if I refuse that cancellation, we're starting off on the wrong foot, for one. And you're just asking for trouble. So I never would have done that. But the situation was that the buyer then opened an item not received case, even though he didn't pay for the item. And I've actually had that happen to me. And it was it was such a pain. And I don't really remember the specifics of it. But the problem is that you can't do anything. On the seller side, you can't do anything to end it, because you can't upload a tracking. You can't do anything because the buyer hasn't paid. And like, I remember eBay saying I had to wait 3 days, and I can't remember how exactly I got it resolved. But the problem is that if you wait 3 days and then eBay intervenes, you run the risk of eBay favoring them, even though it's a glitch. And I guess it's just completely ridiculous that eBay cannot use common sense to solve these issues, where they make us wait a certain time frame to do something, even though there's nothing that can be done in those 3 days. It's not like the buyer and the seller can work something out. There's nothing that can be done. So eBay is essentially declaring war on resellers in a way. You know, I remember back over the summer when all that stuff was going on with Commonwealth. He had his store on hold, and he had like that little 3-day suspension, and he was all upset, and eBay reached out to him, and then everything's perfect after that with his store. Well, seems to be perfect now. That seems a bit weird, but anyhow, eBay basically said that we want to have better relationships with sellers. And yet nothing has been done. In fact, things have gotten worse since over the summer. Sales have sales, visibility, promoted listing fees have gone up, visibility has gone down. Off-site ads are implemented. I'm hearing horror stories about, large amounts of amounts being spent on fees without items being sold that really justify that cost. Insert motorcycle dorks video that he did the other day, detailing, basically eBay's taking about 50% in fees. It's just, eBay wants to have better relationships with sellers, and yet they do nothing but crap on us. And they already have their deals in place with influencers. So is that what they want? They want to have a good relationship with a very select few people who can influence the masses. Like, that just seems shady. The irony and why I had to pause this video. I noticed I got a message from eBay on my phone, and here it was somebody who hasn't received something. It's been a month, and I did thank him for waiting an appropriate amount of time before contacting me, and I refunded them. Basically, it was certain items shipping from Canada. They just don't warrant tracking. It's too expensive, and so it's normally lesser items. But again, now I'm gonna be like, and most 95% of the time, people, higher than that, 99% of the time, people get it, people understand, things get lost. I've had things get lost with tracking. But I just wanted to take care of that, refunded him, explained to him what's going on. But one of the things that we're going to do in this video, and I think I'm probably just going to stop it, flip the camera around, we're going to take a look at this. I got the idea after that live with Primo and what James has said, is I was doing a comp on an item that I was listing, and just for the heck of it, I started looking at people's feedbacks of, because when you search something, it'll show you the buyer's name and if they have 100% feedback. So anything that had less than 100% feedback, I just wanted to click. I wanted to do like a spot check of the reasons that people are leaving neutral and negative feedbacks, and just see, what eBay is allowing. Now, obviously, maybe these sellers, they don't care. Maybe they didn't call in and ask to have it removed. But the point of this exercise is to see, even though you might have 100% feedback right now, I have 100% feedback right now. But I know now that will be a thing. That will be gone. There will be absolutely, a year or two from now, unless there's some secret way to get rid of negative feedback. Unless there is some, I've heard people allude that there are ways that you can get rid of, some secret way that you can get rid of negative feedback. I'm not privy to that information. So if any of you guys know any stealth ways, hit me up. But, I've had negative feedback. I've had it left for me before, but every single time eBay has had my back. They've looked at it, they've used common sense, and they're like, yeah, you know what? This is not right. This should not be there. This is not a reflection of the actual experience. Now, I personally think, and I've said this before, that the whole feedback system needs to be revamped. It needs to be, negative feedback should be only left when the seller does something blatant, malicious, immoral. There has to be a reason for it. And if a seller is going above and beyond, kind of to fix the situation, if they're showing true, willingness to fix the situation. Mistakes happen. 100%. Mistakes are going to happen. And we should always be given that opportunity to make it right. We shouldn't feel that we shouldn't walk on pins and needles around buyers knowing that they can do whatever they want. There has to be give and take. There just cannot be take. And right now, eBay is just taking on multiple fronts. They're taking your fees. They're taking your feedback score. They're lessening it, which will result in less money in your pocket. 100%. People say it doesn't matter. It absolutely does matter. Now, maybe in a couple years it won't matter, because everybody is going to be less than 100%. That is going to happen. And most people right now, if you have 100% feedback, you're sitting in a spot where you're like, la, 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 I'm so happy I have 100% feedback. I don't have anything to worry about. Well, you will. 100%, you will. And if we don't let eBay know, kind of the error of their ways now, this is just going to get worse, in my opinion. There's just going to be I take great pride in what I do, And I know that there's going to come a time where there's going to be a negative feedback left, and it's going to be somewhat justified, even though I know my future self will try to do everything to kind of fix that situation and make up for it. But there's always going to be someone who's going to be like, they just have, a vendetta, or, they've been burnt before, and they transpose every negative experience they've ever had on every future seller that they deal with. It's just, but yeah. All right. So I'm going to flip this around, and we're going to look at some feedbacks, just as an exercise, just for fun. All right. Still haven't received it. Neutral. That's a bit weird, but this one, one of the discs is scratched, so it skips. Not sure that happened with a new set. I still have to test the rest. First season played well. This was a brand new item, and he leaves a neutral, and he's basically blaming the seller for a defect that probably came from the producer, where it was produced. Haven't even opened it yet. How is that even useful? Haven't even opened it yet, and you leave a neutral. Let's see, which one did I want to read here? Great product, poor communication and shipping by seller. I don't know, that's a bit weird. Took a bit longer than expected. So this is like the buyer having an expectation. He didn't say it was late. He just says it took a bit longer than expected. This one cracks me up. This was a Little League jersey with a local sponsor, not a vintage Rays jersey. You got this jersey for free and then sold it like it had any value whatsoever. Is the guy just mad that the guy is selling something that he got for free, and he sold it for $9.97, $9.95? I mean, it's not like he's like trying to rip people off, but this is a negative. Like this is a bit harsh. All right, this was a Little League jersey with a local sponsor, not a vintage Rays jersey. You got the jersey for free and then sold it like it was any value whatsoever. This is a $10 jersey that this guy's selling, and clearly this guy thought it was worth $10 to buy it. To fault somebody for selling something that they got for free is not worthy of negative feedback. It's an opinion. It doesn't help the community. It doesn't help other sellers, other buyers in the future decide if this is a seller that is worth buying from. The gum was expensive, which is fine, but it tastes horrible. That is subjective. It isn't fresh. It didn't come in a closed box. It was 13 packs in a plastic bag, totally PO'd. And this is the response from the seller. Item was bubble wrapped and wrapped in cardboard and sealed with a poly mailer. I've shipped this like this many times. The gum is discontinued and for collecting purposes, as it is listed. I hate that there were any issues, and I hate that you were upset. Probably shouldn't use the word hate in a comment, but anyhow, that's definitely not at all what I want. This is my first negative review. I'll work hard. I mean, he seems genuinely wanting to provide his buyers with a positive experience. This doesn't seem like it is warranted of a negative feedback at all. Good product, but they do run small. Needs to get bigger than normally wear. I mean, I don't even know what that means. It seems like he's just has a little bit of buyer's remorse. Okay, a couple more, and then, I just don't see any point in doing more. But there are some really good ones here. Seller wasn't able to deliver the item due to unexpected serious health problem. Offered me a full refund, which I took. Would do business with seller in future, hoping his health returns in full force, and yet he leaves a neutral. Like, things like this do happen. The seller canceled the purchase. I would have rather received the item, but they promptly issued a refund. And look at this one. Thanks. Arrived on time. And yet they leave a neutral. Like, why? Why? These tights were double sold and I was the one that got screwed. Okay. Yes. It happens. Inventory issues. It happens to every single person out there. If you've never sold anything, by accident that you didn't have, congrats to you. You are the epitome of a reseller. It does happen, and it's genuinely can be a completely honest mistake, not worth a negative feedback at all. And then this one, this is the worst one. It says deliver, but I didn't get anything. I tried to contact seller, but continually get no response or help in any way. I mean, yeah, he should respond, but if it shows delivered, he's done his job. If it got stolen off of his porch, that's not on the seller. There's nothing that we can do about it. Doesn't warrant a negative. Okay, so to recap, you can clearly see that eBay is basically letting buyers just have their way with the feedback system. Maybe some of these sellers deserved some of the feedback that they got, but there's enough there that shows you that the feedback system isn't working, and it causes a lot of unwarranted stress for resellers, in my opinion, and it really shows that eBay does not have our back. They don't care about us. They don't care about the seller experiences. We're very expendable, and until they actually do something to show us that they care about the seller experience as well, this is going to get worse and worse and worse. If you've got some experiences with feedback and you want to share, I would love to hear them. Yeah. So anyhow, moving on. I've got two experiences that I want to share with you that happened to me recently. One is a good buyer experience, but I mean, you'll see what I mean. And I feel like there was another. I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like this isn't the good buyer experience that I wanted to share, but this I didn't actually write it down. But so anyhow, so I'll start with that. So I had a Jessica Simpson scarf and hat that recently sold. You'll see it in the what sold. And I had it listed for $34, and then the buyer offered me $5. So I countered at $29.99 because, you know, I didn't actually expect him to come up. He came up to $15. And he goes, this is the most I can do. If you're not interested, decline. So this is what I've been doing in instances like this. And I encourage you to do the same, because we do need to educate buyers a little bit about kind of what's going on. But basically I just said, hey, I countered back at the lowest price I was willing to go. Even though he said decline, I'm just like, you know what? So I countered back at $22, either $21.97 or $22.97. I can't remember. And I gave him this message, and I'm like, hey, this is the best I can do. I said, because eBay is taking over 20% in commissions right now, and shipping has gone up, and cost of goods have gone up, and I actually have to make some money on this, or there's no point in reselling. So this is the best that I can do. He came back, he's like, your message is completely understandable. I will accept it. I thought that was a good seller experience. Now let's see when he gets it, and if he, but you know, that went well. Now on the flip side, I sold somebody a set of Hulk comics. I gave him a deal too, because I thought that there was an opportunity to upsell him, because he already had paid for the shipping on those. If you wanted to maybe peruse and check out and maybe add a couple comics. So he made 3 kind of lowball offers on 3 single comics. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? How can I message him, and I'm like, so it was like, I want to say it was like $13 for 3. I go, I can do, I think it was 16. And what I'll do is I'll make 1 listing, and then you can just buy it. And it'll be $16, no extra shipping. And he was like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, if he's going to buy 3 different individual items, you know, I don't want to get dinged each transaction fee. I think I'll just make 1 listing, and then we'll go from there. So I do that. I send it to him. 2 days go by, and it's getting to the point where I've got to ship out the first thing he bought. So I message him, and I'm like, what did I say? I said, hey, So 2 days before the item had to get shipped out, I said, hey, did you get the link? And he's like, yes. That was all he said. Then the next day, I'm like, hey, I need to ship out your original purchase. Can you complete the transaction on the 3 that we negotiated with? He messages me back. He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Just send what I paid for. And I'm thinking, did I get him confused with somebody else? And that kind of worried me. I'm like, were these supposed to go to someone else? Or so I look, and you can literally see in the message transaction. So I respond to the thread, the thread of that what we were discussing. I'm like, hey, we talked about these 3 books that you wanted to add to your listing, to add to your order. If you don't want them, just let me know. But I need to know what you want to do with them. But literally, he's gaslighting me. He's literally saying, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then his response, just send what I paid for. So it's like, it's kind of annoying because I pull the order, I create a new listing for him. You know, we do this back and forth, and then he's just, he just blows me off. Like, that's a bad seller's experience if you ask me. But, what can we do, right? All right, so before we get into the what solds, talk numbers, eBay reset, and talk about the YouTubers I'm canceling, did you hear? That was Maria. I sent her upstairs so I could finish the video. Let's talk District, because I firmly believe that now more than ever we need a viable alternative, and District is offering $10 to people who sign up, $10 off of your first purchase. I get $5, and I actually had my first offer today on District. I only have like 25 items listed. If you don't know and you're new, Hey Pop Culture, Hay Pop Culture is the address. You go there, you sign up. You can sign up if you want to become a seller. You can apply if you've got pop culture related items. It has to be pop culture. It has to fit into the vibe, the theme that I want to cultivate there. Now, let me tell you what I am doing. Obviously, I'm an everything seller. And this is what I'm going to tell all sellers who join me. If you do have other items that do not fit under the pop culture theme, sign up to another marketplace. Create your own marketplace if you want. Create a marketplace and that's very niche. Like, take full advantage of the benefits of the diversity that a District has to offer. So I signed up to another marketplace that is an everything marketplace, because there are items either that I don't want to sell on eBay. I don't trust that, eBay is gonna, not have my back, or, I might get a Vero, or, maybe I just don't want to sell them on eBay. Like, it's getting to the point now where sometimes I get offers on things and I'm just like, you know what? I don't even want to sell this on eBay. So I'll like decline the offer and take it down. I've been doing that more and more recently. I did get an offer. I countered, he countered, I countered. I'm kind of waiting to see. Basically, it's an item that I know what the value is, and it's a very in demand item. And I actually would rather sell it local. I know it will sell local, but I have a price. My last counter is my last price. And the offers last for 1 day on District, and I've been focusing a little bit on District right now. It's one of those things that I'm going to build in time, but as long as eBay continues to be the bulk of my income, I have to focus my time there, especially during the holiday season. I am still doing the resets, although I'm not doing them as much on Maria's store, and I'll show you why. There's something rotten in the state of Denmark with the Canadian account. I don't understand why the numbers are the way that they are, but there does seem to be, I have some speculation that with the recent eBay offsite ad promotions, that they're taking away those, what are they called, those external views, because Primo was showing his numbers today, and those numbers have declined recently. Seems to be in that same time frame as when eBay has really started to make that push for external off-site ads. But yeah, so anyhow, District, if you want and you're looking for alternative ways to sell your items, I can get you, I am only charging 2% marketplace fees up until February 1st. So basically you would be paid 5 to District, 2 for the marketplace fee, and then you pay the 3% processing fee, which you pay no matter what marketplace you sign up for. And so far I've not seen, and I've taken a look around at a few of the other marketplaces, the one that basically almost everyone is a flat 10% plus the processing fee. The only other one I saw someone was doing 8% total, so that means they were doing 3%. I haven't seen anybody that is offering what I'm offering. So if you have items that fit in the pop culture theme and you want to find a way to lower your items, lower your essentially your final value fees, consider applying. Let's have a conversation and see if it's a good fit. Other than that, you can just sign up and become a buyer and shop around. You know, whether you want looking for awesome Christmas ideas, there's some great items in there, and they're growing daily. Like there's up to like 260 items in the marketplace right now, which is pretty cool. In fact, another thing that I'm going to start doing is if you are a seller in the market in District, in my marketplace, or any other marketplace, every single eBay sale that you have, you should be putting some kind of note in there promoting District. We got to get the word out there. People need to know about it. In fact, somebody bought something from me today, and he's a comic seller. So I'm gonna reach out and I'm gonna let him know that I've got this, you know, marketplace that I'm building. Comics, pop culture go hand in hand. I'm gonna see if maybe he wants to become a seller, and you know, because maybe he doesn't know about it. So I'm gonna utilize the my customers as a way to get new customers, my eBay customers. I'm going to utilize them and share with them what's going on over at District as a way to build brand awareness. And I think everybody who is getting involved with District at this early age, I feel like everybody should be doing that as well. So I'm going to flip the camera around. We're going to look at what sold. We're going to look at the reset numbers, just give you an idea of kind of what we're doing. I do feel that it is becoming less effective. It's weird. Sometimes, like today I did half my store. I do still get a number of ability to send offers out to watchers. And, you know, just while I was doing this video, one of them translated into a sale. So it still really is the only thing that Jack and I have found in however many months since April, 7 months, it's the only thing that will give you any semblance of visibility. You know, not even promoting at a high rate is going to get you the visibility that the reset does. And I did take advantage of the offsite promoted free money. I basically set my daily budget at what the amount is between now and December, so I didn't pay any out of pocket. I did just want to see. So far, nothing, and I honestly don't think it would actually do my products. I don't think it would be effective. I don't think it would be effective for a lot of people, to be honest with you. But time will tell. Time will tell. All right, so I just listed this button just yesterday. That sold for 15 shipped. The stamp sold for 10 shipped. This just listed this 2 days ago, yesterday as well. This sold for 17 shipped. This cool print. Here's a bigger picture of it. That sold for 27 shipped. We're going to get to that in a minute. This leather keychain sold for 19 shipped. I accepted an offer, and then there were two. There was this Barbie piece. It was like a rudder to a boat, and then there was another piece. I basically paid I want to say I paid $9 for this box that was incomplete. So I decided to part it out. So he paid $30 shipped for this piece and another small little piece of plastic. I don't know what it was to. And then let's get to these items. So this is the item that just sold while I was filming. This sold for, this was $65 including shipping. Primo will be sad that I sold this because he's a big Snoopy fan. This sold for $23 plus shipping. This plop, this is the buyer in question. He's also a seller on eBay that I'm going to try to poach. This sold for $21 shipped. This cool Dr. Doom vinyl model kit sold for $85 including shipping. And this was the Jessica Simpson two-piece scarf hat that the buyer, we went back and forth and we agreed on a price. That one sold for $22 plus shipping. And then this Walt Disney poster, this enchanted poster, sold for $13 plus shipping. I actually, if I remember correctly, I got this for free. I think someone was going to throw it out and I rescued it, and it's got some issues and it still sold for 13 plus shipping. All right, so here is the number. This graph goes back to October 10th, when I first started the reset on this store. And you can see here, you know, the patterns. This was the time when I ran out of listings, so I had to stop. And then when I did the reset again for the first time, there was pretty high numbers there. Not a whole lot to really talk about this. One could make the case that whether you do the reset or not, if you drew a line from this all the way across, so this is 5. So on this account, I sell about 4 items a day on average, every single day. And there's days where I don't have anything, and then there's days where I have more. But if this doesn't scream manipulated numbers, I don't know what does. It doesn't matter on how many impressions you get. It doesn't matter how many page views I get. eBay allows me 4 to 5 sales almost every single day on average. Like, what is up with that? It's so unnatural that it's so consistently like that. The performance, this is going back. I'm doing this from October 10th, basically until now. Show you this. The numbers are still up. Buyers are up. Everything is up since doing the reset. So I have no complaints about that. I have complaints about, I feel like I'm just being capped at the amount of things that I can sell on this store. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys feel like you're capped at a certain sales level? And also, before I forget, Maria wanted me to ask you guys, and this is in reference to feedback. How did she phrase it? When you guys have a situation where you're trying to provide a good buyer experience, or when a situation arises, do you have any tips or tricks on how you are able to mitigate a bad situation and flip it around? Like, I try to pride this channel on the ability of people to share information. I share information, you guys share information. We share information back and forth, and it makes us better resellers. And I'm drawing a blank because I just threw this in here the last second. I'm trying to think of like things that I do to try to, like, if I'm ever out of stock on something, I try to offer something as a replacement well above what they paid. Normally, in many cases, double, just to kind of to demonstrate to the buyer, like, I am remorseful and I am sorry and I am trying to go above and beyond. Other things that I will do will be to, do that and tell the buyer, if you do choose to shop with me in the future, remind me of this incident and I will hook you up. Nobody's ever taken me up on that, but that is one other thing that I do. But yeah, let me know if you guys, are there any special things that you guys do that you want to share? And also the other thing on this channel, on this account, I only did a half a reset today. I'm trying to spread out, because I know that if I do it every 4 days on this account, I'm going to run out. So you can see here, like I did it on this day, and then I didn't do it again until then. So I actually think I would probably be good if I did it. But I mean, ideally, I don't really want to have to do this. It's cumbersome. It's somebody had mentioned that they had a bad experience in doing this. They left a comment the other day that they lost a bunch of listings and that they got a bunch of duplicate listings, although I don't really know how the duplicate listings could happen, because when you do that, eBay pretty much puts a hard stop in there. But yeah, I mean, I felt bad about that. I don't quite know what they did. They must have deleted them instead of ended them. So, all right. So going to my other store. So this is, okay. So this is the one. This is weird. This. Why is this off-centered? Okay, I just had to recenter it. I don't know what was going on, but you can see here. There's something that doesn't look right when you look at this chart. So I remember during this time, let me try this. During this time, I was doing like a quarter a day and of my store, and it just, so around all of this time. And then at this time, I'm like, you know what, this is not working. I'm going to go back to the normal kind of reset. So I did it here and there and there. And then I think maybe I didn't do it, and maybe I did it here. I don't know. There's something, I think I didn't do it here for a while, but I know that there were days, because you can see the spikes in the impressions, but it's not behaving the way it did. In fact, I'm starting to think on this account, it isn't even working at all. So I don't know why, but I'm still getting sick. Like, I'm actually, this time, what was a pretty crap time, but I am starting to get sales more on this, even with these weird low numbers. And I think that's why I've not been doing the reset as much on this store. So I don't know. It's weird. Let's check the stats. So this is from December 12th. October 12th to December 12th. So 2 months, actually. So 2 months. All the numbers are still quite up. 66% total buyers. What's those other numbers? I don't know. Everything's green for the most part. But when I kick it down into like a week or 2 weeks, I am starting to see down numbers. So, but overall, no real complaints with that. Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about is the state, I guess, of the resellers videos that are out there. And this kind of falls under this is another reason why, at least for probably to the end of the year, at least, my videos will be a little bit, there'll be more of a gap in between the videos. This is time of the year to be spending with family. There's just not a lot to talk about, really, in my opinion. And to be honest with you, almost everything is just another regurgitation of something else that has been said before, or maybe adding, a personal experience. I didn't even talk about that whole video that Rockstar Flipper did about companies suing resellers, which it's just, there's a lot of things going on in the reselling world that it's just not, there's just not a lot of positive things to be said right now. People are suffering with sales. The fourth quarter I can't really complain with my fourth quarter, and yet I still am. Because the so many of the other things that are going on are just putting an overcast cloud over reselling in general. Now, I find myself watching a lot less reselling videos right now, and if I really spent some time thinking about this, I would put together a more comprehensive list. And I joked about canceling resellers, blah blah blah. Like, I'm not going to state any names of people that I'm not going to watch anymore. But basically, like, there's a few categories. Like, people who are touting about how easy it is to make money if you just go out and you buy high sell-through items, sell stuff that sells. It's so easy to make money on eBay. Not watching any of that stuff anymore. Like, forget it. People who are talking about how it's eBay's playground, and we have to do what they say. I mean, this is an obvious statement, but to say that it's eBay's playground, a playground goes both ways. There's a playground, and then there's people. What is a playground without people? We are the people who are looking for playgrounds to play in. We don't have to play in eBay's playground, but they need us, whether they want to admit it or not. They need sellers. And I need eBay, but I need eBay to be a place that is welcoming to sellers, and the things that they are doing are very anti-seller. They don't have our backs. They don't have any intention that I have seen to build a better relationship with sellers. It's all been talk up until this point, and until they do anything to build a better relationship with sellers, to me it's just talk. That's all it is. And you cannot ask people to pay. And I think eBay's end game is to try to take up to 40% of what you make on eBay. I think that's their end game. I think they're trying to phase out people who are resistant to that, and they're trying to replace them with people who are not so resistant to that. People who think that this is just the way it is. The problem is those people will find it impossible to run their business. And I think it will be impossible for eBay to find the amount of sellers that are willing to give up that amount to sustain eBay's continual need to have ever increasing profits. Like, oh, I almost said something that Primo was talking about total by accident. I don't want to give that away. He'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's rigged right now. And what am I've gone off on a tangent here. I get a little fired up about this, but the playground. Yes, the playground. eBay needs us. They need us to play in their playground. They need us to play in their playground. But they can't have it both ways. They can't expect us to just bow down and give them 40% or more, restrict our earnings, treat us like subpar business partners is what they're doing. They think that they hold all the cards, and one could say that they do, but one could also make the case that e-commerce is an ever-evolving business, and they're gonna ever evolve themselves right out of the game if they're not careful with how they allow individuals to operate a business and to make money. And they can't have it both ways. So anyhow, so people who talk about eBay's playground and how it's their playground, just deal with it, blah, blah, blah. not interested in watching, people who that's their point of view. What sold videos? If you do what sold videos and you are ignoring and you're not addressing the actual real problems that are going on in the platform, yeah, that's just a fictitious fairyland of nonsense that I'm not interested in watching anymore. And if you sound like you're an eBay paid commercial, not interested in watching that either. Like, that's triggering to me. So, and I'm sure there are more, categories of reselling videos. I didn't really give this that much of a thought. These were just the ones that kind of came up to me like that. Let me know, what kind of reselling content are you eliminating from your viewing in 2024? Maybe it's me. Maybe you're eliminating me. I know that I'm an acquired taste. The people who come back, they like it. But there are a lot of people that are very critical of me as well. I found one of them in Primo's chat today. He was just not having anything that I had to say. So with that being said, guys, I hope that, throughout all of this, that it's you're still having a good December on some level. Reselling isn't everything, but, when your numbers are down, it feels like everything. And, remember to focus on family and health. And, I do plan on doing a live with Primo next Wednesday. I wanted to take this week off. I don't want to get burned out on YouTube, to be honest with you. And I think sometimes I find myself just, I don't ever want to force content. And I try to only make videos when I feel like I've got some things to say. So I think I've said it all. I'll leave it for you guys. Now it's your turn to watch. Leave a comment, like, dislike, do something to feed that YouTube algorithm, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Peace and blessings to you guys, and we will talk to you soon.